Most professionals say they're being careful, but when what they really mean is they're avoiding discomfort. Risk has gotten a bad reputation, not because it's dangerous, but because it's misunderstood. In business and career growth, the absence of risk isn't safety, it's stagnation. The real danger isn't taking a risk. It's refusing to evaluate one and pretending staying still is the smarter option. Let's dig a little deeper right after this.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work, an award-winning podcast where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
What risk have you been avoiding that could actually move you forward? There's something that we need to really think about, because a lot of times when we think about risk, we feel like that there's like a danger sign somewhere. But I want you to think about it from this perspective, that all risk involves growth and vice versa. All growth involves risk, whether you want to admit it or not. See, playing it safe is still a decision, and playing it safe carries some consequences. Staying in the same role, delaying a pivot, or avoiding visibility all come with risk of their own. And so growth-minded professionals, individuals, entrepreneurs, they acknowledge risk instead of pretending it doesn't exist. See, for myself, I can say that for a good 2 or 3 year period at one particular time, where I wanted to only solely think about website design in my organization. And with that, I only wanted to use one platform for doing that. Well, here's what I found out. There were limitations that I didn't realize I was putting on myself. Now, I thought that I was going to say, hey, I'm going to work with my clients. We're going to use this platform, use it to its fullest extent, and then we're going to be able to grow from that. But here's the reality. There were some other apps that would have been better to serve what the clients really wanted. Some ways of even integrating, embedding, pointing, whatever it might have been, some elements that the client was looking for. And so because I was avoiding risk of coming off of a certain platform, well, it made me become stagnant in that moment. And so smart risks are calculated, and I want you to understand it's not necessarily reckless, because risk becomes dangerous when it's emotional or impulsive. And if I would have moved off of this particular platform because I saw things were not going well and I'm in my feelings about it, or because other people were mentioning it or whatever it is, again, sometimes we don't want that confrontation. And so we move on the level of emotional or impulsive actions. And smart individuals, they assess the upside and the downside, timing, and the migration process for any and all of those situations. So when I had a client who was looking for migrating from one platform for the email server to another one, we had to do some extensive research of understanding what platform was best. And so at that particular time, the Microsoft Office suite, because of what they offered for not just from a financial perspective, because again, that could be emotional, but also understanding what it meant from a true standpoint of what they offered, that was beyond just the email being Outlook or their personalized email address in all reality, but also what comes within or embedded with that suite. So now I can offer, or we can look at scenarios and situations of this client can now utilize this platform, this app that we can easily share information documentation throughout the whole group. And then that way you don't leap blindly into a situation, and that we were moving intentionally with awareness and preparation. And so these things that you want to make sure that you do, and when you understand, like, hey, even though it might be a risk moving from one platform to another, but it doesn't have to be a reckless one, just make sure you do your due diligence. And understanding that avoidance of the situation can even be more costly than doing the transition. See, unfortunately, sometimes avoiding the risk, it may feel like it avoids fear, but it doesn't eliminate it. At times, it can actually amplify the fear that you're experiencing. And over time, avoidance leads to regret. It can lead to self-doubt, and it can also lead into missed opportunities. See, courage grows through action, not overthinking. And in times in our businesses and our career moving around, whatever it might be, they can stall when the fear, unfortunately, can show itself as if it's wisdom. Because someone could say, you know what, moving right now is not the best thing to do. And so you come off as the wise old wizard. I like the Lord of the Rings. So do I look like Gandalf or something like that? Because I decided not to move. But was that fear? And so this matters because as a professional, we need to learn to manage the risk rather than avoid it. We as the professionals need to understand that this helps to build our trust. It helps to build resilience and momentum over a period of time. See, risk isn't asking you to be fearless, because there is a sense of, with that, you get to understand what is going on. You have a heightened sense of awareness when you have a level of fear. Now, granted, we have the flight or fight mentality, and when you are in your career, when you are in your business, and it's something that you really, truly love, 9 times out of 10, you're going to fight. But we also, in that, we need to assess what the real risk is. And in doing that, we get to see a broader picture of what we're doing, why we're doing it, and where we need to go moving forward. And so when you stop pretending, safety lives in a place of stagnation. Maurice, what do you mean by that? See, unfortunately, sometimes us being safe, we don't grow. If we continue to be safe, we are limiting our possibilities. And so then you start to move with clarity and courage. Once you realize that safety lives in stagnation. And so I really would like for you to write down one risk you've been avoiding and ask this: what's the real cost of waiting? What's the real cost of procrastination? What's the real cost of not understanding what is on the other side, possibly, of the rainbow? Because we never know. It might be a big old basket of gold coins. We have no idea. But your vision of gold coins means what? 100,000 followers, $100,000, 100,000 downloads, whatever it might be. Understand what the risk might be and why you're avoiding it and what is the real cost of waiting. Thank you very much for listening today.
Thanks for listening. Follow Maurice Chisholm on social media to stay connected and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work. Or will it?